I love it. Well, I guess first things first. How are you doing?
So I've got my hands in a lot of different things right now. Uh, my country's recently come back into the international spotlight because China is wanting to build or expand a military use airport on one of our islands, and it's always been a source of great intrigue. A little bit of espionage, a little political maneuvering and stuff, because Kiribati is, even though it's a tiny island nation, it has a very critical spot out in the ocean. It's right at the international date line and the equator, and so in some sense, because it straddles all four hemispheres, it's kind of the center of the world. And the, China would love to get its hands on that as a position to island leapfrog to other strategic locations and stuff. So that's been I've been slightly involved with a group called Kiribati First. I didn't name it, but it was a coalition of the opposition party. The opposition party led a coalition to try to have a vote of no confidence for our president, the highest office in the land. And what's interesting about that is that, as opposed to like sort of what's the American? I'm losing my mind. What's the
You're good.
with Trump? What with Trump and stuff? Like, what's the thing that he was like they were trying to bump him out of the words
Oh,
eluding me.
are you talking about I
Impeachment.
know
That's right.
yes, yes, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
yeah. That took me an hour to remember.
You're good.
So as opposed to impeachment in the American process, a vote of no confidence in Kiribati specifically, it's not really found in any other national body. If you say, hey, we as members of parliament do not have confidence in this president, we're going to do this vote of no confidence, it means everybody, including the members of parliament, has to get reelected. So you're putting your job on the line in order to make a statement to say that we need to get this person who's in charge replaced, and I'm willing to sacrifice my own job or risk losing my own job in order to do the right thing and stuff.
Right.
So it's not something that can be just tossed out or some sort of substanceless signal. It's a very substantive effort, and so that's just another weird thing that we got going on for a bunch of kind of obscure islanders out in the Pacific.
Wow. Okay, so I think this is a great place to start here, because the China topic, especially here in the United States, is quite obvious. There's in many ways people automatically associated with a communist country, which for obvious reasons, but then also they have been seeming to go after all kinds of countries for all kinds of reasons, which pretty much always means that when you really assess the reasoning, it really comes down to they're just expanding left and right. And they've been doing so for quite some time in a very savage way. Why do you think China is such a soft spot for Americans?
I think China is increasingly becoming a topic of fixation, or I guess a sore point, or a sore spot for Americans, because we have definitely, I say that as a citizen here. I have a tendency to jump back and forth and put on these different hats. So as a fellow American in this moment, we definitely have a tendency to harken back to the days where American had a hegemony, a political and cultural dominance over the world, and so much to the point that quality was synonymous with American-made products, where dominance of industries in other countries was seen as sort of the plaything for American businessmen, and where the safety of American citizens was guaranteed by a seemingly invincible military power.
Yeah.
And that's something that's becoming increasingly shaken, or at the very least questioned,
Yeah.
by uh, Chinese expansion efforts. And I'd like to, if there's anything that I can, I really want to hammer down, it's that in the end, I do admire China. It's such a fascinating culture, and the
Yeah.
people are just they're so rich with um, ancient uh, societal practices and culture, that a lot of countries don't can't always say they have the same, or at
Yeah.
least not to that extent. Um, and the amazing things that have happened for China are, like, you'd have to be a real ignoramus to deny that China is becoming greater and stronger.
Yeah.
Um, and it's through a multitude of avenues. But I'd say that a huge a larger amount. I'd say that a larger amount is due to the success of the special economic zones, like Shenzhen. I apologize if I mispronounce it. Um, that these places where they've allowed for almost rampant capitalism to take root, they've formed the power base of the new, I guess, Chinese empire. And with the businesses and with the flourishing businesses that take place in these special economic zones, where these traditionally communist practices, or traditionally communist um, laws have been paused, if you will, or withdrawn for a bit. Um, that money is now able to bankroll the expansion efforts into the Pacific, into Africa, so much to the point where Africa is now considered China's China.
Yeah.
Uh, Whereas the rest of the world seemed to export all of its labor or all of its manufacturing to China. Now
Yeah.
China has the opportunity to do that in other countries, in other Pacific and Asian countries, and definitely in Africa.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, man, you're totally right. Because when it comes down to it, I've been to China. I was in Beijing for a few weeks and I was representing Microsoft at the time.
Wow.
And I just remember that you could pick up that there was such a level of obedience and consistency with wanting to be part of the bigger picture as opposed to everybody just being an individual. And so you could tell that there was this discipline instilled into their nations that I don't see here in the United States. In many ways, call it what you want. If they have some sort of a bigger grip and controlling their people in sort of tactical ways that might intimidate them.
All right, thanks for watching this clip from Appropriate Culture. If you want to watch the full episode, go ahead and check out us at appropriateculture.com. You can also check us out on social media platforms at Appropriate Culture. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.